Hello viewers, welcome back to the most hardcore EAFC tactical channel. In our last video, we thoroughly analyzed FCT player abilities, and it was so content-rich and hardcore that I felt there was temporarily no new content to add. We're currently busy creating a database and related programs covering non-regular players, which is a massive project requiring a lot of time and effort. So, during this busy phase, I want to talk about some lighter topics in this video, such as the various activities and medals within the game, which are equally important to players, but I seem to have not detailed before. First, after you register an account in the game, the first thing you need to do is the rookie tutorial. The rookie tutorial will guide you through almost all the content in the game, including various competition modes such as the world match. But I have to complain, the rookie tutorial is just too long. If you're not playing this game for the first time, if you're using a second account and already know this content, you'll find there's no way to quickly skip the tutorial. This might take you over half an hour to complete, and the content of the rookie tutorial is very complicated. I sincerely hope that the game developers will cancel this kind of mandatory long tutorial, or at least provide an option to skip the tutorial if the system detects that it is not the player's first time playing. In the rookie tutorial, you'll get a player card, and now when you enter the game, you get Sun Heung-min's card. This big-head version of Sun Heung-min, in the previous old version, you could get another version of Sun Heung-min, which is currently unobtainable, but it doesn't matter, the two cards are the same except for the values. The rookie tutorial also gives you an S-level shooting skill move, much stronger than the A-level, which is very useful for early game matches, as you can overcome stronger opponents with higher combat power. After talking about the rookie tutorial, let's look at the world match. The world match is divided into several levels such as beginner, intermediate, and advanced, each containing 6 leagues, with about 20 team matches in each league. The combat power of opponents in beginner levels goes from 170k all the way up to the last level's 300k power Manchester City. The intermediate league goes from 270k to 500k, and the advanced league from 470k to the last level's 620k. You don't necessarily need to exceed the opponent's power to win the game, as long as the team setup is reasonable. As for why you want to play these world match levels, the main reason is for their rewards. The reward system of the world match is very attractive. Each level has 3 small goals, such as winning the game, achieving 0 goals conceded, and leading by at least 3 points. Each goal achieved earns you a tactical point, which is precious for rookies because they can be used to draw player cards. If you can clear all levels early on, you also get an extra 20 points for the first clearance, which means you can get a lot of tactical points, which are very important initial funds. Besides tactical points, for each league's last level you pass, you get specific tickets. Although the probability of winning with these tickets is not high, they also add fun to the game. In the last levels of some specific difficulty levels, there are additional rewards, such as specific formations or 3-star level coach cards, which are very helpful for early team building. However, we also need to be clear that new players may hit a bottleneck when challenging these world match levels, especially when trying to achieve 3-star completions. If you don't reach 3 stars, you'll miss out on some rewards, and you may need to come back and re-challenge after your team's power has increased. Therefore, you need to make a choice whether to complete these challenges quickly to get initial funds or wait until the team is strong enough to easily achieve 3-star completions. This is a strategic decision that players need to make based on their own situation. In the game, the setup of the lineup is very important. In subsequent videos, I will specifically introduce which positions are the most important and how to optimize your team through card enhancement. So, please continue to follow our channel, and we will bring you more in-depth analysis and strategy sharing about the FCT game in future videos. Next, talking about team setup, for the world match, several positions are crucial. First is the striker because many objectives require a 3-point lead, and a scoring striker is indispensable. Next is the goalkeeper. A reliable goalkeeper can secure victories. Also, the midfield layout is critical because the game automatically passes the ball to a midfielder at the start, like my Ronaldinho. If these 3 positions are well configured, your chances of clearing levels, especially achieving 3-star goals, are greatly enhanced. As the game grows and data inflation occurs, I expect new difficulty levels to be added to the world match, but these are future matters. By comparison, Captain Tsubosa's world match is actually built around the story, from the beginning to the Rising Sun chapters, and even the new Next Dream storyline. Personally, I prefer Captain Tsubasa because it has a coherent story. The world match in FCT has less immersion. Although players may be interested in a particular league, it's not well reflected in the game. Even though you can view the opponent team's skills, since most of the time you're auto-passing, players don't get a strong impression of which players are stronger. It's more of mechanically grinding levels. As for that 3-star coach, it's actually quite good for newcomers. If you haven't exchanged for other coaches in the shop, this coach card can boost your power in the early stages. As for those draw tickets, I personally don't think they are very useful due to the low probability of winning. In the 1.3.0 version, new levels were added, indicating that the game's leagues and levels will be updated according to real-life situations, which is well done. I had already cleared all levels before, but several leagues were shown as unpassed after the 1.3.0 version. Also, whenever there is a major version update or an event, related progress might be reflected in the free tasks in the taskbar. Some tasks might be reset, but this is uncertain and depends on the game planner's arrangement. Because in the Captain Tsubasa game, there are anniversary events every year, and sometimes these events include resetting game tasks, which is not an annual feature and largely depends on the planner's mood. Once reset, players can gain a lot of tactical points by recompleting these tasks all at once. So my advice is to try to complete all tasks before major updates or anniversaries. Now let's take a look at the special events. Clicking into special events, there are 4, let's look at them one by one. First is the limited time event, which I think is a concept of farming in mobile games, where you accumulate resources by playing levels to enhance players. These events are the most important part of the game's resource accumulation, and most of your stamina will be invested here. Currently, there are 3 types of limited time events. Let me introduce them one by one. First is the medal training event, which mainly rewards coins and training resources, both of which are very scarce in the early stages of the game. It is recommended to play these levels as much as possible, up to 3 times a day. Make sure to complete them. The highest power requirement is 450k. If you have 350k power it might be difficult, but with the right setup, manual operation can win. Because the reward for completing 3 simple levels is not as much as completing 3 high-level ones. Once the goals are reached, you can use the skip function directly, which is highly recommended. Next is the event match, which usually changes theme every 1 to 2 weeks, but overall the content is more or less the same. There are 4 levels. The first 3 levels of difficulty have unlimited tries, and their highest power is 450k, but the last level is a very difficult level with a power of 550k. You can only play 3 times a day. If your team is all 3-star players, passing these levels is possible. If you can't manage, try to complete it manually. Once you get a 3 o'clock score, you can skip it. You can see the green circles. Each goal completed will light up 1. This means that once you've completed these matches, all your stamina can be used to play these special events. Then there are bonus players, because every event will have bonus players, which you can check on the relevant page. For example, in the current event, FTCC players get a 130% bonus. If you have new cards, passing these levels will be easier. Although the bonus is good, you can still pass the levels without it. The rewards for the event match are better than the world match. In addition to the common rewards, there are also extra medals, which can be exchanged for various items. As for reward exchanges, there are 2 methods. One is to directly exchange medals for the items you want, and the other is to use medals for lottery draws. If your stamina is limited, you might not be able to complete all the lottery tiers unless you replenish your stamina. However, if you think the rewards are good, you should try to exchange as much as possible. Generally, the form of the rewards is similar, whether you exchange directly or through the lottery. In short, the most important of these rewards are the player cards. The game may have changed the settings now. Non-regular players are all premier cards, but theoretically, they should be seasonal cards because their configuration is closer to seasonal. These cards might not be the strongest, some may even be worse than regular cards, but they will have additional bonuses in the current events and PvP. You can exchange for 5 to complete 4 evolutions, or just exchange for 1, as these players generally aren't worth investing too many resources in, so decide based on your own resources. Skill move cards are important, but if you draw a lot later, you'll have many of these A-level skills that you won't be able to use up, so exchange according to your needs. Trait cards are even rarer, especially traits like the midfield master, which are very useful, so I recommend exchanging for them. For other resources, such as upgrade tools, you can also exchange if you have enough resources. In summary, the most important are still the player cards and draw tickets, which can bring substantial improvements to your team. Next, let's take a look at the final event of the limited time matches, the Selected 11 event. This event is recurrent, with many different series, such as Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., and they are always there, so don't worry about missing out. In this event, player setup is also important, with 3 levels of difficulty, but the advantage here is that there is no limit on the number of matches you can play. You can retry endlessly. The main goal is to get the exhibition medals. The other 2 rewards are similar to the world match and other events. The focus is on getting that exhibition medal. This event usually does not have extra player bonuses, it's purely a contest of power, quite simple. The main difference between different volumes is the composition of the opposing team, but since we are all about grinding, we don't pay too much attention to the specific composition of the opponents. What's important is being able to pass. In terms of rewards, you can exchange the medals you've earned for different things, such as evolution crystals for regular cards, which are very valuable, although indeed quite expensive. Then there are formations. If you are in the early stages of the game with limited cards drawn, you might not be able to field all your powerful players, but if you have the right formation, you can deploy all your strong players, and that's when you need to exchange for these formations. There are also some tactics, whether for offense or defense. These tactics I personally haven't delved too deeply into, but they will bring some changes to the gameplay. You can understand based on the description. Their effects are usually literal. Some coaches have extra bonuses for specific tactics. If you use these tactics, players will receive bonuses on the field, which needs attention. More about extra tactics later. As for other items, I personally don't think they are particularly useful. You can exchange if you want to, otherwise, it doesn't matter. Regarding skill moves, as I mentioned in the last video, skills are very important, especially tackle, interception, and passing skill moves. You'll need a lot of these skills for your players later, so buy as many as you can. You need at least 10 sets of such skill move combos. As for the S receiving skill move, I've mentioned before that it's not very useful later on, but if you don't have a good goalkeeper early on, you must buy those skills that are better than the A-level skills, as they can reduce the chance of your team's downfall. 1 is enough. Buy as many other skills as possible. As for A-level skills, I don't think they are particularly useful. If you have enough stamina, you'll find that grinding this or that event is equivalent, because the exchange count is limited. You should exchange this one first, and after you've finished exchanging this medal, if you find the items are not ideal, go grind another medal to exchange for items. To sum up, the limited time matches are relatively simple overall. If you have a full 3-star lineup, you should be able to take down the hardest difficulty. If your combat power is low, try to get the rewards from the high power events, as they will help your early growth more. Later on, if you have stamina, just mindlessly grind these events. The priority is to play the training matches first, then the 3 limited event matches, and then farm either the event matches or the exhibition matches.